Folks, glad to have all of you here. We're at the YouTube studios here in New York City, and been waiting to have this conversation with Spike Lee. What's up, man?
What's up, baby?
Good seeing you.
How the Rockets doing?
Rockets doing well. Doing well. You know,
better than the Knicks, all right?
There's a whole bunch of folks doing better than the Knicks. Yeah, come on. First of all, we're going to talk about Black Klansmen, but as a basketball fan, you've been in purgatory for a long time.
True. As Jay-Z would say, facts.
But you got all brothers running the show now.
Yeah.
So you got some hope.
Hope is eternal. When you're a Knicks fan.
I understand.
Thanks for having me. You know, this I love. You're doing your thing, baby. Appreciate it.
Well, the thing is, you know, it was very interesting. You know, I had a Sunday morning show on TV1 for 4 years, a daily show for 4 years, had you on those shows, and when TV1 ended the show, I said, folks were like, oh man, you know, but man, love to have you on CNN, MSNBC, and I said, no, I said, we're gonna launch a digital show, which we're gonna launch Roland Martin Unfiltered September 4th. And my whole deal was, I said, because in which you understand, we talked about this beforehand, we've got to own our narrative. We've got to tell our story, and we can't be in a position of asking somebody else, please, please. Can't do it. Right. And in fact, what's interesting is, so I put out this goal. I wanted 20,000 of our followers to contribute $50 each to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And the whole point of that is, if we do that, that's $1 million that comes from the fans. And I've told folks, look, we also have to fund our freedom. It can't just be, but go get some advertising. Like, yeah, but you're still beholden to if they don't. And you did a movie, which I contributed to, when you crowdfunded.
Yeah, Kickstarter.
Right. And that's just...
Appreciate it.
And in fact, you were crowdfunding before the name even existed.
In 1985, for She's Gonna Have It.
Tell folks about that, because I don't think people really understand that.
Well, we were doing crowdfunding before it was called crowdfunding. You know, I was writing letters, pen to paper, postcards, calling people up to contribute, and She's Gonna Have It cost $175,000. And you know Nelson George, you know Nelson, right?
Oh yeah.
He was one of the original investors.
Wow.
He's still getting checks. 32 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm sure glad I answered your letter.
Nah, I knew Nelson. He was like, but you know, you're right. It's ownership, and that goes whatever we want to do, whatever endeavor. And it's ironic, you know, when things were segregated, we had our business.
Yep.
We support our businesses.
Yep.
We support our people, and then it flipped. So here we are, 2018.
And when we also again talk about owning the narrative, what I explain to people all the time is that if being in this position, I'm deciding the topics, the guests. I'm deciding how much time we spend.
But you know what you call that? What I call that? You're the gatekeeper.
There you go.
And that's the problem, because people, you know, everybody's excited now, black cinema, this and black cinema that, but it's been I've understood, like, it's been cyclical, where this happens every 10 years.
Yep.
For us to be conscious, every 10 years, my phone's ringing off the hook. So can you talk about the Black Renaissance?
Right.
10 years later. So Spike, I've been doing it 40 years. So to get around that, we have to get in those gatekeep positions where we have a vote. Because you can do it on the inside and the outside. I think we need to come from both ways.
That's right.
Know? Martin, Malcolm, Du Bois, Booker T. It doesn't have to be one way to do it.
No.
It's the same goal.
I got no problem with brothers and sisters who have shows. Look, Van Jones has a bi-weekly show on CNN. Joanne Reed, Don Lemon,
all good.
Payne at Fox. That's fine.
All good.
But my deal is, we also got to have it over here where if it's Dick Gregory dies and we're gonna live stream his funeral. Nobody else was there doing it.
They wouldn't do it.
NAACP convention. I had my cameras. We're there. No other media is there. And my deal is, stuff was happening there that was important conversations. And again, and so folks, and I've been.
So you are a gatekeeper.
Yes. And
that's what we need.
My deal is, and we're bringing these stories. I ran into this sister from Cleveland. Her two sons. She has eczema. Her two sons were trying to figure out how to help their mom with eczema. They created their own soap company. I ran into them. We put them on. Did an interview with them. I got an email, man, we've been getting orders from the interview. If we're not there, they don't get the kind of publicity. And I'm putting them on my social media platforms, 2 million people, that's black-owned business.
That's how it's got to be. My brother.
That's how we do it, baby. That's how we do it.
Did you go to Morehouse? Whoa. You sound like a Morehouse man.
Hold up. I went to Texas A&M, but we had maroon colors.
Aggie, right? The Aggies?
But we had maroon. But we had maroon, same maroon
white. Maroon white.
Absolutely. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Now, a word from one of our Roland Martin Unfiltered partners. You've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. Write down this website, marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. I'm going to tell you why it matters. Legal marijuana has grown to become a $9 billion industry in roughly 6 years. Forbes magazine predicts the market will continue to grow to nearly $50 billion in the next 10 years. So whether you like it or not, legal marijuana is a growing industry, and it is only going to get bigger. Now, if you're an investor, you get it. You look for business models that are easy to understand in industries that are trending up. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate made their business very simple. They buy land that supports legal marijuana operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. So you are investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm. Stop working so hard for your money. Let your money start working for you by investing in the legal cannabis industry. You can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000. But you can't wait. This crowdfunding opportunity is only available for a few more days. They say that you either make things happen, watch things happen, or sit around wondering what happened. Don't be the person watching and wondering. Don't let another investment boom get away from you. It's time to make something happen for you, your finances, and your family. And don't forget my pro tip. To be included, you must complete and confirm your application. And be sure to complete the process. Go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game, folks. Do it now before time runs out. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. Let's talk about this movie, Black Klansman. When did you first hear about this story?
When Jordan Peele called me up. I never heard of Ron Stallworth, never heard of the story. Didn't know of the book, to read the book. And Jordan, called me up and he gave me a 6-word pitch. High concept. Hollywood. Black man infiltrates KKK. That was it.
You like, sold?
Nah, first I said, is this true? then after that, I automatically thought of the David Chappelle skit.
Right.
But he said, Spike, is true. And I said, I'm interested, and here we are today, you know, and it's very, very happy. You know, we've been blessed with the reception to this film, and been blessed.
I mean, it is a hell of a concept. I mean,
Right. High concept.
When you hear it, you probably thought, that's fictitious.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it actually happened. Then you got the whole David Duke part and all that. I mean,
Right.
it's real.
Strange but true. and it's still, I still shake my head that this thing actually happened. And I met Ron Stallworth, and so beautiful brother. And what's hip about this film, I feel, is that even though it takes place in the 70s, it's still very contemporary, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so that was the key, because I didn't want people to think, especially the young audience, like, oh, this is going to be a history lesson. I don't want to see that old shit. But you know, but we had to try to, we had to freak it a little bit, you know, for just to show that this stuff is not new.
Right.
It might be dressed another thing, you know, and it's slicker, but it's the same stuff.
Well, it was interesting watching the film, and I had my three of my nieces with me.
Mm-hmm. What are their ages?
And they are 21 and twins are 14, starting their freshman year in high school.
Uh-huh.
And so we're watching the film, and in it, you know, they're talking about COINTELPRO and shutting down the Black Panthers. And just today, I posted a story that came from, I think, The Guardian, of these 8 Black Panthers who are still in prison 46 years later. And the story is, will they ever be free?
What were the charges?
Just, multiple, you know, some of them murder, some of them other charges, and a lot of these cats were in solitary confinement 10, 20, 25 years. I mean, America is still scared to death of Black power.
Yeah.
Freedom. And black folks who will actually pick a gun up. I mean, because they changed the gun laws in California.
You had to.
The Panthers read look, we can carry long rifles, as long as they point it in the air.
Right,
they were like,
UEP Newton.
oh no, we got to change the law. These Negroes, and they figure out how to use our laws to benefit them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a line in the film where police officer, the chief, says that he agrees with J. Edgar Hoover, the biggest threat to the security of the United States of America, Black Panthers.
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
So, at what point did you say Charlottesville?
That happened before. In fact, it was 2 days ago, a year ago, August 12th, Sunday, 3 days ago. And I was at Martha's Vineyard, and I was watching CNN, and I just cannot believe that I just witnessed American homegrown apple pie, blueberry pie, cherry pie, homegrown American terrorism.
White domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorism. That's what it was, no matter what anybody says, that's domestic terrorism. So, David Duke, Agent Orange, I don't say his name, the neo-Nazis, alt-right, and the Klan, they gave me the ending for the film. That's.
So when that happened,
we didn't start shooting until September.
So this literally happened
August 12th, 3 days ago.
A month before you started shooting.
Yes, but I knew I wanted that ending, but I still wanted to get Miss Susan Bro's blessing. She's a mother of Heather Heyer, who was murdered, and she.
And you reached out to her.
Reached out to her.
What did she say?
Well, you know what? We know she told me. She said, "Spike, I'm very happy to give you the permission," but she said, "I'm getting a lot of flack from black people, like saying why is your daughter getting all this publicity when black people getting killed all the time?" And I really said, you know what? Don't listen to that, Miss Bro, because That's insane.
There's also black people who don't understand history.
I mean,
James Reed was beaten to death.
I know. What was the lady's name from
Viola
Detroit?
Liuzzo.
Yes. So
Head blown off. Dr. King gives a speech on the steps of the Capitol in Montgomery. She's driving one of the workers back to Selma. 3 Klansmen pull up in the truck, blow her head off.
we go to John Brown. So that's just an ignorant statement. I try to tell her that please, not all black people think like that. Your daughter's loved, your daughter's a martyr, and so please just get the. I mean, don't listen to that. That's craziness.
And it was it felt. First of all, I can tell you, as somebody who appreciates film, I mean, watching this, I'm not feeling 1970s. Sure, I'm looking at clothes, I'm looking at hairstyles.
The afros? Did you have a fro?
Oh, I had a fro.
Like
fro.
this?
Oh, like that.
Yeah, the Michael Jackson or Jermaine Jackson.
Mine was real curly. mine, I had a really soft one too, and I had to put nothing in mine. So I had that natural.
No, you had to put no afro sheen in it?
No, my stuff.
Beautiful people.
Oh, I had that
use
natural.
afro
I'm talking
sheen.
about it was. I had a good one. I had a good one too. I had a big one. Yeah, mine was way bigger than my brother. My brother was more like
John David.
John David in the film.
Right.
Yeah, mine was way more curly. Way more curly.
What's my man's name from the Ohio Players? His was to the side.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
My dad.
What's that guy's name though?
Sugarfoot?
Yes, Sugarfoot. His afro leaned to the side.
Daddy wouldn't allow that. That was limitations to afro. Daddy was like, no, you got a regular ordinary fro.
Sugarfoot.
Sugarfoot passed away a couple years ago.
He did?
Yeah, dog. But performed up to the end. I saw he was on the Tom Joyner cruise at family reunion. Out there with a cane, getting it in, getting it in. When I'm watching it, you talk about that contemporary. And so even though I'm looking at the clothes and the hairstyle, I mean, it absolutely felt 2018.
Yeah.
Even at the end when you see the video, and even with that, so the video at the end, were there any recreations or did that come from Vice?
Some came from Vice, although we just put ads in the paper in New Charlottesville so everybody can be reported now.
Right. So
people just send us stills and video. But a large part was Vice, but there's a whole bunch of people contributed to the coda of the film, The End.
I said, and you said it, white domestic terrorists. And it's amazing how in this country you can watch CNN,
Timothy McVeigh and all this,
MSNBC, you can watch all these networks, and if a Muslim if an American Muslim did something, Muslim shoots 5 people. Or upset man. No. White domestic terrorists shot 5 people. And we've had in the past year, they tried to blow up a mosque in the Midwest. You've had all these different incidents, and in this nation, they just won't call it what it is.
It's not new though. They call us 3/5 of a person. That's in the Constitution of the United States of America. 3/5. So it's the same old, it's the okie doke. And people like you are in position to try to say that's BS, you know, because we got to call what it is. Truth to power. Truth to power. You know and I know and they know this country was the foundation of this country is the genocide of Native people and slavery. That's the beginning.
Dinesh D'Souza has this movie out called Death of a Nation. He has a book out as well, so I'm going to interview him next month with the launch of our show. And so his whole premise is that Democrats are the party of racists, and we go on and on and on. My whole deal is, dude, that's America. The Whig Party, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. But the operative phrase is white people. This nation, folks benefited from it. So whether you want to sit here and try to play this game of one party over the other, that's the reality for 245 years. Then you go through Reconstruction, then you go 19 years of Jim Crow. I'm like, don't act like one side was just pious and perfect.
Not at all. Not at all. But here we are today, though, with this guy in the White House.
And speaking of that, you didn't run away from that as well. He makes an appearance because again, you are weaving these elements in and trying to get people to understand that don't think that this is America's past. It's America's present. And I keep trying to tell people that what's driving all of this today is 2043. When we will become a nation that's majority of people of color. That's anxiety.
I'm glad you brought that because a lot of people slept on that. When the United States Census Bureau said by the year 2030, 2035, whatever that.
Well, initially when they did it, it was like 2060.
Wow.
People went, oh, this is about 30 years ago. People were like, man, I'm gonna be
It's like
dead.
that in California already now.
They went, I'm gonna be dead. Then something happened. Latinos kept having babies. Black people kept having babies. White folks stopped having kids. That thing went 2053, then 2050. I remember 2047, 2045, and it kept going down. Now we're seeing in several states the annual white death rate is higher than the annual white birth rate. And so every time I see one of these white anxiety stories, I said, y'all, you got to be deeper than mustard on a hot dog. This is what's driving it. They are scared to death when they say we're losing our culture. No, you're losing your power. You are going to have to share power, share money, share resources, and that's what's driving all this anxiety.
I agree. I mean, this is we're getting to nitty gritty, and as you said, and I would like to co-sign it, piggyback. Agent Orange in the White House was also a reaction to 8 years of Obama.
In the history of America, black success has always been followed by white backlash.
Resurrection, you know, Reconstruction. So, and that's something that I just wish that, as a whole, not just black folks, but just people, we got to pay attention to history. I mean, so often, if it happened before I was born. That's almost like suicide. If you don't know what happened. I mean, everything should happen before you were born.
Right. Well, but you look at Virginia. You look at
the Cathedral Confederacy.
Terry McAuliffe extends the voting rights to formerly incarcerated. In Virginia, the reason ex-felons could not vote is because in 1902, a state legislator said this is to keep the darkies from voting. So you had all these governors who were defending a law, but the basis of it was from 1902. So when people go, oh, that's the past, I'm like, no. There are laws that are still informing us today based upon somebody who was a bigot or racist then.
And you had amendments to turn around that stuff too. And now this guy is trying to take away amendments. So it's we live in a crazy world. It's insane. And that's why I think this film, people respond to this film as well they are, because it kind of like captures, you know, the tone, the mood, the illness, the sickness that we live in. Because we're sick. A country that would separate families, separate parents from their children,
and take pride
in that, and put them in cages. Who does that? You can't claim to be the cradle of democracy and do some stuff like that. You can't do it.
I was on the train coming to New York, and I said, has Spike ever done a comedy? And I started thinking about, I said, and there have been comedic elements in a lot of your movies.
Right.
Is it your position that, look, there are people who make feel-good films. There are people who make romantic comedies. But do you see it as your mission? I need people to think.
But I think that you could do that in any genre. I mean, for example, Inside Man with Denzel. I mean, it's a heist movie, but there we talk about integrations. You know, we slip stuff in there. But I would not say, though, people have said this, been written about that Black Klansman is a comedy, a buddy cop thing. I don't like, for me, I wouldn't use that word comedy. I would like.
No, I wouldn't use that.
Humor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, humor. So I think it's I've done before. Do the Right Thing is a very serious film. Also, you know, has a lot of humor in it. So it's hard to do. We just have to get the right balance.
But what I'm saying is, but for you,
right.
You are deliberate.
Not every film. Not every film. I mean, the autobiographical film about my family, Crooklyn. You know, that's just really just a small story about a young girl growing up in a household full of brothers, you know, parents. So it depends. It really depends on the film.
How crucial is it for us?
Very crucial.
To be able to see ourselves in a 360-degree way, and not just one way.
Well, you'll be telling the truth because, as you know, we are not one monolithic group. We don't think alike, look alike, talk alike. We're just as diverse as anybody else, and I think we get in problems. Problems arise when we get this. People think that we have to be, or we think that we have to be a monolithic group. Not everybody has it. All black folks don't agree. All black people don't like my films. So you just can't, you know, there's not one monolithic group, and we have to come to, I think, in better terms understanding that. And even though some people might, you know, say some crazy stuff, that doesn't mean they ain't black. You know, that's just their. I'm not trying to make a defensive.
No, I got you.
But that's just the.
So
it's hard to sometimes just say there's just one specific single black voice.
So I got to ask you. So 2 weeks ago,
right,
you were in Detroit for the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. Right. You were there with the film that Saturday. That Thursday, Tyler Perry gave a master class, and in it, and he brought you up, and he said, you know, he said when Tyler said I was cooning, when Spike said I was cooning, he said I got all this criticism, and he said that people said, well, your shows are simple, and he said, well, that was a strategy behind it. And he said, look, Spike's from Brooklyn, sophistication. He sort of compared Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes in terms of people like, well, Zora, why are you using that language? She's like, well, that's the language that I know.
But you know what, though? I would, you know, me and Tara, I love Tyler, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily true because even though people try to say I was born in Atlanta. I went to Morehouse. So it's not like I spent my summers down south. If you live in New York, Boston, Philly, and your parents had grandparents down south, they ship your black ass down south. So my summers growing up in Brooklyn, New York, my summers were spent in Snowville, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. So like I was like I'm some alien to the south. That's not true. But I would like to say this though. I called Tyler up, and I said, Tyler, I never talked about this before. I said, let me come down to Atlanta. And so I flew down to Atlanta, spent the day at our house. At his house, his mansion. Incredible. And we just talked. And it was just me and him, nobody else. We talked for like 3-4 hours. Yeah. And we just came to understand, like, we said, like, we can't do this anymore. And we've been chill ever since. You know, it got to that point, and I called him up. You know, he said, you going to fly down? I said, yeah. You know, we've been cool ever since. Cool ever since.
Are you proud of what he's done? Building that studio?
Oh, yeah.
All different.
The man used the word. He had a strategy. He's a mogul. Now I got all those studios that people are renting and stuff, so I got nothing for love for my brother Tyler Perry.
In that master class, and it was interesting when he talked about what we talked about in the opening, where he said, never leave your culture. There are a lot of people, and when I introduced him, I said, let me be clear, y'all, black people made him rich. A lot of times, you have African Americans who who really want white validation. But if I can just cross over, as opposed
that's
to
the death wish.
As opposed to being true. Why do you say that?
Well, I'm not gonna name no names, but there have been several African Americans in the history of this country who have wanted validation from white folks, and they did certain things to get that validation, and then something will come up where white folks say, like, you're out of here, and then these individuals come crawling back. Oh, I'm sorry, crawling back to the black community for forgiveness. This happened a lot. And being the forgiving people we are, we welcome back in. Black folks are forgiving people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we are.
We that's in our DNA. Like, you can do something like crazy, but welcome, back in the bosom. But you know what I'm talking about.
So with that case,
we ain't naming no names.
Well, no, we ain't naming names. I'm gonna name this one since she's in the news. Will black people welcome Omarosa back? Because she dropping dimes. No, she ain't dropping dimes. She dropping quarters and half dollars. What do you think? What do you make of all of this?
But here's the thing, though. Again, I think a lot of stuff is meant to be distractions to keep us from focus on what's important. And she had all those goods. Then why she wait till she got fired? But look, I mean, I really can't comment on that. What the president, he did, not though, I mean, Agent Orange, he put some tweets out about it today?
Called her a dog. Called her a dog, questioned her intellect. She got fired from the Apprentice 3 times. I mean, trashing left and right. And then a couple other black people who worked with him, they said, oh, no, we never had any conversations. So Katrina Pearson goes on Fox News last night. Oh, I never had any phone conversation with Omarosa about the N-word. Then Omarosa went on CBS this morning and went, press play, and you hear Katrina Pearson on the phone call saying, yeah, he said it, he's embarrassed by it. It's kind of like, oops.
They had the tape on her? I missed it.
Pearson goes on to say, absolutely no conversation.
You know what? Was she singing that Shaggy song? Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
But I said it.
It wasn't me.
I said it.
She's doing the Shaggy.
I said on MSNBC yesterday, I said, y'all, I'm just letting y'all know, I said, tread carefully. I said, she crazy. She let these fools say, I never talked to her. Press play. When somebody tell you they got a bunch of tapes, you might want to be real careful. Your conversation.
What did she say after that, though, once they play the tape?
Well, kind of a little hard now.
What did she say? Was it me?
Right. I don't know. She probably gonna take it all spliced together. But it's interesting because look, I know Omarosa. I talked to her. I text her. Look, I know many people. I know black Republicans. I know black Democrats. I know people. I know Fruit of Islam. I know. Look, I've been in the black space all these years, and so I don't hate her. I don't despise her. But it's interesting to me also when we look at the reaction. Because I think to your point, Agent Orange, if you black, you get near him. Black folks, they ain't giving you the side eye. They giving you both eyes, and they're going to borrow a pair of eyes looking at you. It's like you just...
They're looking like this. or like this.
I mean, I had a pastor call me who was invited to that meeting with the black pastors who met with him. And he was like, no, I ain't trying to go near that. And then after it happened, he said, man, I'm so glad. He said, I didn't go near that. It's just, he repels.
Here's my thing is that we're all going to leave this earth in our physical form. And when it's time to go to the upper room, do you want to be in the right side of history or the wrong side?
What they say in life, the upper room.
The upper room, and very quickly, I've seen someone like that. When I had to interview George Wallace, my documentary, 4 Little Girls, he knew he was gonna go. So he was trying to come with all these lies of what he did for black kids, bought them books like that, but it was too late. He knew he was going to hell. I really believe that because he was just coming up with some. I can believe he allowed. I can believe he agreed to do the interview with me.
Right.
But he was trying to get some alternative narrative.
He wanted salvation. He was trying. He tried everything.
Too late. When he stood at the door, U.S. Alabama, Vivian Malone, right?
Yep.
When he gave Bull Connor the wink, the Klan the wink, that was.
Because you ain't coming back from that.
You can't.
And there were black people in Alabama who forgave him. To your point, who voted for him and reelected him governor.
Yeah, that's some Alabama Negroes, though. Yeah, I can't. My father was born in Alabama, so I can say it. Snow Hill, Alabama, between Camden and Selma.
When you look at just where we are, and I've been saying this, we're 25 years away from 2043, and I've been saying to black folks, study South Africa. Because I don't want us to have demographic numbers, but not be ready to take power, to assume power, to wield power, to use it. And folks ask me, they're like, man, but why you support charter schools? I said, look, I support any form of education that's working for us. I said, we don't have time, whether it's education,
We don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury.
I'm like, I said, a child that is born today is going to be 25 in 2043. I said, we have to be in a state of mind where we are fully prepared for that moment.
Can I say this? It's like a smaller version of the giant statement you said. We weren't prepared after Obama's second term. We were partying, and all the type of stuff. For 8 years, we in a state of mental.
My phrase was, we never left the inauguration parade.
Yeah.
For 8 years, we were like, and here's what people understand, and I need everybody who's watching this understand this here. I interviewed you for my book,
right?
The first President Barack Obama's Road to the White House, originally reported by Roland Martin. And I used that same quote in Essence magazine. You said, look, a light switch is not going to be turned on just because Obama's in the White House. There is work to do.
Because I was talking about this. For me, the most insane thing, the most frustrating thing to me was this post-racial world.
Which was total bullshit.
It was BS. When our brother put his hand on Abraham Lincoln's Bible, at that very moment, there'd be some magical, mystical, hocus pocus, something, and racism and white supremacy, whatever, all the isms on it, will be completely banished. That was some of the. That's probably the biggest skullduggery of modern time.
It was a con job.
Yes.
And I was on.
It was skullduggery, shenanigans. What's the other one?
Bamboozle. Led astray. Run amok. But I was on CNN, and I'm combating that, going, oh, what the hell y'all talking about? I'm like, again,
false narratives,
not understanding history. And see, this is why also I tell these brothers and sisters, many of them who have now come after me on these networks, don't go on there just reading yesterday's news. Did the criminal justice system somehow get magically repaired when Thurgood Marshall was sworn in as Supreme Court Justice? No.
Hell no.
Did Virginia stop being a racist? Racism ended when Douglas Wilder was sworn in to be governor of Virginia.
Hell no.
No.
Give me Dinkins here in New York.
When these black mayors.
Give me Dinkins.
Gary Satcher, Richard Satcher in Gary, Indiana. Stokes in Cleveland. Maynard Jackson in Atlanta. Coleman Young in Detroit. Marion Barry in D.C. David Dinkins in New York. We can go down the line. It did not happen. And so and it was crazy thing, Spike, when you bring that up, because the hardest thing for me was sitting there, and black civil rights leaders told me, they said, Roland, we can't say nothing. Because if we turn around, we ain't got no troops behind us. Black people, I mean, Obama was Jesus 2.0 for black people. You could not.
The perfect Negro.
I mean, and again, I supported this president, swung hard on the air. But I told folks, we fell in love with the first. We forgot he was the 44th.
Yeah, but we acting like 44 is going to be like somehow there's going to be a new congressional act or whatever that's going to be able to have a third term.
Right.
No.
The point is, you had to demand of the 44th what you demanded of the previous 43. And understand, like all the people they were like, Roland, don't you miss him? I said, no. And Spike was like, what? I said, because the day he won, I knew he could only be there 8 years. I said, y'all.
But that's because we didn't have not seen ahead. Looking, understanding history and knowing like this is just a period here. It's a
finite period.
We were not prepared. We thought he was going to be here for my brother was going to be here for 8 years. And the Republicans, some people, they're like, You know when it started? Remember? Did you see that? What do they call that thing? The congressional with the writers. What's the thing? The dinner they have?
White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Did you see the one where Obama was killing Agent Orange?
Oh yeah.
That night. That's when it started. I truly believe that. That's the night he said, "I'm gonna get that."
Right.
I mean, people should go back and look at that. That's when Obama was telling them jokes about Trump. Damn. I mean,
was
telling them jokes about Agent Orange.
Was destroying him. Was destroying him.
And he couldn't get up. He had to stay there and take it. Had to take it. That's when that historians will bear me right. That's the night it started.
And what he did was he took the Pat Buchanan playbook, the George Wallace playbook. He pressed the buttons of white anxiety. Pressed the buttons of these immigrants taking your jobs.
They're all rapists.
And all these folks, and he was pressing those buttons. And when you sit back and you study it, that's why I keep telling people. They're like, well, no. I mean, Katie Couric did some piece the other day, and some guy thanked her on Twitter by saying, "Thank you for not saying that all Trump voters are racist." And it was called white anxiety. I said, no, I need white folks to go deeper on white anxiety. There's history there. There was history. They feared what's going to happen to us now that all these slaves free. And then now what they didn't realize is the laws that were passed during Reconstruction, 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment, white wages went up after slavery. Broke white people benefited from black people. The history of America, broke white people have always benefited from us demanding our full freedom because the laws were not just written for us, and that's why
and you could span that to women's movement too.
Oh, absolutely, same thing.
The gay movement all happened on the back of the civil rights movement.
If you were gay, the same-sex marriage was passed because of the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. That was a Reconstruction Amendment, and I've given speeches. White women. Title IX passed in 1972, which opened the professional schools to women to become doctors, lawyers, engineers. If you ask the average woman, where does Title IX come from, they can't tell you. There was a provision of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which black people died for. And also people got to understand, every single one of those acts, Civil Rights Act 64, Voting Rights Act 65, Fair Housing Act 68, was preceded by black blood.
Yep. Black
people had to die. They think it was like the marches. No. There were actual riots that led to deaths, and they were like, "Hold up, we got to pass something."
And LBJ.
But if you don't, but again, these people who walk around who ain't read a history book.
Forget about history, but how about just reading? Period.
Well, that's a start. That's a start. That's a start. That's why the one time I did real time with Bill Maher, the one time, I turned to the camera, I said, "Read a damn book." Maybe that's why I ain't been invited back. I don't know. And that was October 2014. So I'm like, Bill, invite a brother back.
How old are you?
49. Be 50 in November.
I'm 61, so we're basically the same generation. And just like to say, it's my education. Growing up in Brooklyn, New York, on my block, Big C, even I just think in black communities all together, we never ever made fun of the people who were smart. We never ever said, you acting white, you talk white, you're an Oreo, you're a South. We never ever, in my block, if you were smart, you got love just as much as if you were a great ball player or you know how to talk to ladies. We never, ever, ever made fun of anybody that was intelligent, that was about their books, that was about their education. And I think crack turned the whole thing around.
Yeah.
Crack, I mean, we're still dealing with the crack epidemic because you had children who were left their own devices to grow up, and they had children. You know, that story is not really been. It's not. It's
well, because it changed generations.
Yes,
it changed.
I mean, there's always been drugs in the black community, but crack, people lost their soul.
And when I talk about that period of black success, followed by white backlash, I put crack in that because Maynard Jackson elected in 1973. Jackson, Young, Berry, this whole group of black mayors.
You left something out. You left something out. Morehouse man.
Okay. All right. Well,
What?
Marion Berry, Fisk University.
All right.
Was a chemistry major. So he got you on that one.
Yeah. and the bitch set him up.
But you call them Morehouse men, but Maynard and Marion were also both men Alpha Alpha. But the thing is that period. What happens? Black success. Reagan gets elected in 80. Crack, Contras, okay. And again, that period of success. That to me, I think people have to connect. I got it. So we got a few minutes left. I got to ask you this here. How did it feel to sit there and go, I'm directing Denzel's son? I was directing the daddy.
It felt very natural because I directed Denzel's son in Malcolm X when he was 6 years old. He's one of those kids that says, my name is Malcolm X. It's a blessing. To work with Denzel on Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, He Got Game, Inside Man, and now to work with his son, who's an amazing actor. I've been saying this lately, but I'm going to say it here, is that, people talk about this, that's the cliche. To be honest, a lot of times cliches are based upon truth. And the cliche I would use now, talking about Denzel and his son, the fruit don't fall far from the tree.
But he wanted to also make his own way. He talked about...
He had to. He talked about... athlete.
Right, going on a football route.
Yeah, you know where he played? You know what school he went to?
Yeah, he went to Morehouse, I know.
Look, can I do this? The house.
Yeah, I know he went to Morehouse.
Where did Dr. King go?
I know he went to
Where did Dr. King go?
Also in Alpha.
Where did he go? I know. Where did Samuel Jackson go?
I know, he went to Morehouse.
And with Moses. Dear old Morehouse.
This is turned to a Morehouse PSA. That's what it's turned to. And all the rest of y'all out there who are proud Morehouse men, send a damn check back.
Uh-oh.
I ain't got a problem. Now look, I didn't go to HBCU.
No, but that could go.
But the thing I tell people,
the black schools altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
Florida A&M, only 5% of their graduates give back. Wilberforce, 9%. Claflin is the example. More than 50% of Claflin alumni annually give back to the university. So I created the hashtag HBCU Giving Day. People are like, but you didn't go to HBCU. I said, yeah, but I'm black. I said,
that type of thinking is so ignorant. I mean,
I didn't have to go to HBCU to cut a check. I've done 16 commencement speeches, 14 HBCUs. I'm like, yo, if you black, you black. Support education. First of all, people saying Denzel's son, he's got a name, John David Washington. And also shout out to Paulette, because you got to give Mama some credit.
Got to. Tanya Lewis Lee too.
Bad sister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Tanya, first of all, tell her wife hi. So, so did she tell you when we met at CNN? Okay. So I don't know if she want me to tell you. Whatever. So it was something you were doing. We were talking. She's like, I don't know. I want to go here. I want to go here. It was I think the children's book she had. She was kind of like, we've done these interviews and most of the time they want to talk about movies. And so I said, okay, come on. I said, come to CNN. We're gonna go to the cafeteria. So we sat down. We had about an hour and a half lunch on the concept of Me Inc. The concept of Me Inc. You being your own shareholder, your own company. And so we sat there, and we it was just back and forth. So her book, her health initiative, and stuff along those lines. And so I just said, Tanya, look, I said, you got to have a Me Inc. philosophy. And we just had this long conversation.
Thank you.
I'm serious. I'm telling you. And what happened was, and I said, look, what Spike doing is great. I said, but look, you got amazing things. I said, have that vision. So what would happen is, so like once a month, I'll be like, how's Me Inc. going? And every time we've seen each other since, I would go, what's up with Me? Yeah, we had that conversation.
No, thank you for that.
Not a problem. We had that conversation.
Thank you.
Just your thoughts, real quick. Aretha Franklin. She's health is declining.
I found about that this morning, and I've been like in a semi-daze. I mean, here in the afternoon. I found out like 8 o'clock this morning. And the Queen of Soul, Detroit, Detroit. How did Berry Gordy let her get it? Was she signed to Motown first? I think so.
Was she signed to Motown?
I think so. Anyway.
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm always connected. Well, you can keep talking. I will check.
Well, that was one that got away, but
also, somebody turned away Gamble and Huff.
What was that?
And when they got an award, and Berry Gordy did a video, he's like, I'm still looking for the fool who told Gamble and Huff they couldn't come right for Motown. He said, what were they thinking?
Well, then there wouldn't be Philadelphia International then, right?
That's true. That's true.
They're beautiful brothers, too. But Aretha, I had the pleasure of working with her one time. Aretha sang the end credit song for Malcolm X.
Yes.
The classic Donny Hathaway song, Someday We'll All Be Free.
Yep, I got the soundtrack. Yep.
Yeah. But I love Aretha. And you know what? We really gotta give our giants love. I know people use the word flowers and roses, but we can't be waiting till people on their deathbed.
I agree.
We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. We have to let our giants, our kings, our queens know that we love them and they're loved while they're here on Earth. I mean,
also, no, she never was. She was with Columbia. She was never with Motown Records.
My bad. Sorry.
Right, but you're right. How that happened.
Yeah.
But first of all, you're right about that because it's just like for me, so people have I've known her now for 10 years, and people literally while we're talking, people are literally texting me trying to get updates on her condition, and what's interesting is. Hold on one second. Literally, folks, we are live. We are live. And so one of the local affiliates there is saying that she's passed.
Aretha?
That's what. So I know we live, folks, but this is what happens when. Hey, Doc, one of the local stations there is saying she's gone. Got it. Cool. Let me let folks know. I got it. Thank you. All right. No, she is not passed. But you. So No. It's not true.
Well, we gotta say our prayers.
Our icons.
We
our
got
icons.
to, because I say this all the time. There's no guarantee you're gonna wake up in the morning.
Right.
There's no guarantees. And I think of people like I've met over the years, great people, and like when they pass, I should have said, you know, like, you meant a lot to me, because you know people are busy. You know you don't want to infringe on them, but
you know I do.
But sometimes you just gotta like move.
No, you do.
And just can I speak to my brother, my sister for a second, and just give him a hug and say I love you.
Yes.
And then don't make it into production. Get the hug, step.
That's it.
Hug and step. And they can feel that. They can feel it's genuine.
Oh yeah.
They can feel it.
It's for me. Every time I get to see Harry Belafonte.
Didn't he do great in this film?
Oh, so I'm watching the film.
So we didn't let people know he's in it.
You let nobody know. I'm watching the film. I'm like, yo, I know that voice.
Because it starts as a voiceover before you see him.
I know. I went, Mr. B in this? Doc, that was. I'm telling you, I called him. And first of all, one of the most iconic voices, and it's so crazy too because he'll call me back and he's like, how you know this was me? I said, you the only person I know in the world who talk like this. And he just busts out laughing. But again, folks like him, I mean, you're absolutely right. Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, and my deal is these are our icons. Yeah, and what's weird, and how do you deal with this? How do you deal with meeting one of these icons? Because this was the case what happened with Aretha. How you deal with one of these icons when they're a fan of yours? Is it the weirdest?
I'm honored.
Dude, so here's what happened with Aretha. So 2007, my agent, Mark Watts, sends me an email. He's like, dude, we just got this email. Somebody saying Aretha Franklin really loves you and blah, 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 blah. He's like, About 10 minutes later, he went back, he said, okay, that wasn't a fake email, that was real. They just called the office. Aretha Franklin sends an email. I just wanted to let Roland Martin know I appreciate his work, what he does, what he stands for, what he means to our people. And then the next year, February 2008, she's performing in LA, getting an Image Award, and she's at a concert, and some friends had a ticket, Beverly White and her husband Xavier, so we go to the concert. We sitting 20 plus rows back, whatever, enjoying the concert, and I was like, well, we gonna go say hey. So we go, and you know, they walk us back, and we were the last ones to see it, and she goes, well, why didn't you tell someone you were here? I was like, I'm just here at the concert. She's like, well, I would have shouted you out from the stage. That's when our relationship began. Dude, she would just call me. She would just call me. Oh, 12:30. If I ain't lie, 12:30 at night. I got to be up in 4 hours. I see a 248 number. I'm like, who called me from Detroit? I answer, Roland.
Yeah, that's me.
Aretha. I just saw that Wendy Williams video you did, boy. That was something. And but I'm tired as hell. But it's the Queen of Soul. So you can't say, Aretha, I'm sleepy.
Can't do it.
Not for 20 minutes, Aretha going on the phone about sex. And it's just it's amazing because you the Queen. And you like my work. And bruh, she would, in the last conversation we had, we talked on Christmas, and I sent her this video of my dad making this gumbo. She's like, well, I gotta get that recipe. So for 3 months, she's like, what a recipe? What's up with the gumbo? Then she asked me to come bring her some gumbo to the house in March. Unfortunately, the weekend I went, she went to the hospital that weekend, which I had never revealed before. But you're right. We got to show our love
while they're here.
And just
in their physical sense, in their physical state, before they make that transition.
Because speaking of that, because it happened to me coming on the train station here. How does it make you feel when you get black love? It is, I mean, I'm talking about when a brother or a sister, I had a brother in Atlanta. I don't know if he went to Morehouse. He worked at the airport. Walked up to me, he said, thank you. And I said, appreciate it. He said, no, thank you, and walked off. And I told people, I said, I teared up. It is something that's just amazing.
It's true. And there's the other side too.
Well, you got the crazies.
I was on Black Twitter.
Oh yeah, but you know what though? Even with that, that's fine because, and I had never stated it this way, but Kevin Johnson did when he introduced me in Sacramento. He said,
the governor, I mean the mayor, formula.
Yeah, he said
Phoenix Sun.
That's right. He said, black love is what fuels Roland do what he does. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, when dudes in prison, just got out of prison says, hey dog, you respect it on the yard. We watch your show every day. You like, I mean, you ain't thinking about inmates watching the show.
Oh, the people that you reach, you know. But I just think about Aretha.
Legend.
And what? I don't want to sound like these old fuddy-duddies, but people like Aretha, James Brown, Prince, Michael, they worked in their craft. And I mean, and I'm not hating on anybody, but just putting them, putting on a video, that ain't like doing 5 shows at Apollo,
not one concert. They put on multiple shows and gave it all.
And I just hope that the younger generation understands that you got to put the work in. That overnight success stuff, you got to put work in. You got to be committed. I mean, you think about the time that James Brown and John Coltrane or Mike, I mean, that was their whole life. And they worked at it. They work at it.
Last question.
You got to put it in. You got to put the work in, no matter what you're doing.
Netflix has picked up She's Gotta Have It, 2nd season.
Yeah, we just finished shooting the 2nd season.
What is it that you haven't done that you
The musical.
Do? Really?
Yeah.
On what?
Well, hopefully my school days be a Broadway musical.
Who you talking to? Kenny Leon? Who you talking to?
I'm going to direct it.
You're going to direct it?
Yeah. I mean, that's a musical. People.
Oh, no, that was.
When the movie came out, they would say it should be a musical.
Right.
Now it came out '88.
Yeah, I still remember that scene.
Which the butt scene?
No, not that one.
What scene you talking about?
T-shirt and all them in them dresses.
Oh, yeah, Be Alone Tonight.
Yeah. They would kill it. I can see that scene right now.
I know you can. Jasmine Guy.
I can see that scene. I can see that scene right now. I can visualize that scene right now. Spike, always a pleasure, man.
Thank you. And congratulations on this, man. You do a great job. You're a freedom fighter, gatekeeper, and getting the word out. A lot of times we're not getting the real, not getting the really real, we're getting the okie doke.
That's right. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Because guess what? We come back live January 3rd. The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Hello. Y'all want some of this? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. There's only one show out here, folks, in the digital world that's focused on you. Because here's the piece. I ain't afraid of Fox News. Come back live January 3rd.